Have you ever stopped to wonder who's really calling the shots in your life? You probably think it's you, right? The conscious thinking you. But what if I told you that most of your life, your decisions, your reactions, your habits, is run by a hidden co-pilot? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the vast unseen part of your mind that's actually steering the ship. 95%. Just let that number sink in. According to neuroscientists, that's how much of your brain's activity is totally subconscious. It's all happening behind the scenes, completely beyond your awareness and your direct control. Yeah, that's right. For the most part, you are running on autopilot. So what exactly is this hidden 95%? Let's go ahead and get properly introduced to the real boss, the most powerful part of your mind. Okay, so think of your subconscious mind as this gigantic, practically unlimited memory bank. It has stored permanently every single thing that has ever happened to you. But it's not just a dusty old archive. It's also the operating system for your brain, constantly running all these background programs that control how you walk, talk, feel, and react to things. Now, your conscious mind, that's the one you're using to listen to me right now. It's logical, it's rational, it's great at making active choices. But here's the catch. It's only responsible for about 5% of your day. Your subconscious, on the other hand, is the emotional, habitual powerhouse that handles the other 95%. It's not thinking, it's just doing, based on whatever programs it has stored. So where in the world does this programming come from? Well, the most critical window is from the day you're born until you're about 7 years old. In those years, your brain is basically a sponge, just soaking up everything it sees and hears as the absolute gospel truth. It doesn't judge or filter anything. And after that, your subconscious just spends the rest of your life running those initial programs. So many of your fears, your habits, your deepest beliefs, they're really just echoes from your childhood. The subconscious has a huge job description. It manages all the stuff you don't want to think about, from keeping your body temperature just right to driving your car without you even noticing. But here's the real kicker. Its number one directive, its only real goal, is not to make you happy or rich or successful. Its job is just to keep you alive. And it does that by keeping you tucked away in your behavioral comfort zone and hitting the panic button, the fight or flight response, anytime it even thinks there might be a threat, whether it's real or just imagined. But what happens when that deeply programmable, automatic part of us faces a totally new kind of threat? Well, the answer to that is a little scary, and it lies in the new frontier of AI-powered influence. You probably remember the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal, right? How they used personal data to try and influence voters? Well, the AI technology we have today is ready to do something very similar, but on a much, much deeper level. We're talking about targeting that subconscious 95% directly. And listen, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is the new reality we're all facing. According to legal expert Ignacy Beltrán de Heredia, there are two main ways this can work. The first is something called decision architecture. This is where an AI uses all your personal data to build a digital environment that just subtly nudges you toward a choice it wants you to make. The second method, though, is way more direct. It's called impulse creation, and it involves using devices to generate subliminal, irresistible urges that you just act on without ever knowing why. And this quote, man, it just perfectly captures the danger here. Just like the children of Hamelin, we could end up being led by these invisible forces that we can't understand or even perceive, and our actions might not be entirely our own anymore. It's a chilling analogy, but it really shows you what's at stake. So you'd think we'd be building some pretty strong defenses against this, right? Well, maybe not. Let's look at the EU's big Artificial Intelligence Act. The original idea was an absolute ban on any AI that could influence the subconscious. Simple. But the version we have now, it's been watered down. A lot. Now, it's only banned if it causes significant harm, which is a standard that's almost impossible to actually prove. And this brings us to a huge, glaring question. For decades, we've all agreed that traditional subliminal advertising is unethical. It's banned pretty much everywhere. So why on earth are we now creating these giant legal loopholes for a far more powerful AI-driven version of the exact same thing? The struggle to regulate AI's influence on our minds really points to a much more fundamental problem. We don't even have a clear definition of what a mind really is. And as we're about to see, the answer might be way, way broader than we've ever imagined. Over 100 years ago, Charles Darwin wrote this, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, the inner worlds of animals aren't so different from ours. For a very long time, that idea was basically laughed out of the room by scientists. But now, that's all starting to change. For example, take bees. Yeah, bees. We now know that they can count, that they can use tools, and that they even seem to play just for the fun of it. I mean, these are complex behaviors we used to think were unique to so-called higher animals. If a tiny bee can do all of this, what does that say about what it means to have a mind? All of this is leading to a major shift in scientific thinking. Scientists are starting to move away from that old idea that consciousness requires complex language or human-level intelligence. The classic "I think, therefore I am." The new thinking is that consciousness might actually be a much more fundamental property of being alive. And this isn't some fringe idea anymore. Just recently, hundreds of the world's leading researchers signed the New York Declaration on Animal Consciousness. It officially states there's a realistic possibility that consciousness is widespread among all kinds of animals, from mammals and birds all the way down to insects, and that it's irresponsible for us to keep ignoring that possibility. So this leaves us with one final big thought. We are developing these incredibly powerful technologies to influence and control the human subconscious, a part of ourselves we barely even understand. And at the exact same time, we're just starting to realize that the very thing we're trying to manipulate, consciousness, might exist all around us in forms we've never even considered. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we race to control the mind, maybe we should first hit the pause button and actually try to understand it.